So I want to do a little bit of a different video today. It's still related to the topics that I care a lot about, but it's not related to racism and all that very serious stuff that I've been doing lately. If you watch the latest Reformgelical show, we had Michael Foster on from It's Good to Be a Man, and he was talking all about sexuality, gender roles, you know, patriarchy, things like that. It was a really good episode. You should check it out. A lot of people were saying, by the way, that they haven't heard me so quiet in an episode ever before. I usually talk a lot, I guess. And honestly, I was just learning. Michael is a wealth of knowledge in those particular areas. And one of the things he said was that the office place, like corporations, like working and things like that, has become a replacement for the home for women. So instead of a woman, the Bible says that a woman, the woman was made for the man, not the other way around. So the man wasn't made for the woman was made for the man to help the man build a household, you know, whether that's through child rearing, whether that's through making the household a productive place. Like in Proverbs 31, the woman that is described in Proverbs 31, she's a productive woman. There's no question about it. And so, but Michael made the point that the office is sort of replacing the home. And so everything that we do, everything that we build, it's for somebody else's kingdom, so to speak, as opposed to your own kingdom, your own household, your own, you know, area of authority. And I thought that was such an interesting point. And we'll probably have to talk more about this in general, but man, this is actually very, so I'm going to show you this video from a guy named Joshua Fluke on YouTube. I highly recommend you check this guy out. His content is super hilarious. I don't agree with everything he says, but he does give some good advice. He hates corporate culture, and the videos that he does are so funny. Well, take a look at this video just for a second here.
Here's a corporate office, your standard meeting room, with your really modern looking table and chairs, and then some wall art in the back. Here's a 4th grade classroom. I've been saying it for a while, but I just don't think people really get it, or they don't want to accept it, or they don't understand. Schools don't make employers, they make employees. Colleges don't make employers, they make employees. And so what I've done is I've gone through a bunch of companies and I've compared and contrasted pictures from kindergarten and compared them to corporate life. And when I started to do this, it freaked me out. Go ahead, grab your tinfoil hats with me for a second. I didn't have enough tinfoil for a complete hat, so I have a tinfoil bonnet instead. I'm pretty sure companies do this to trigger something in your subconscious.
So I'm not going to play the whole video. It's a 12-minute video. You should definitely check it out. It's called Corporate versus Kindergarten. You're being conditioned. And this is super freaky when you see how he compares what you remember from what the kindergarten classroom used to look like and what modern offices, like millennial offices, look like now. It's strikingly similar. And there's a reason why corporations do this, because corporations are not stupid. So I don't know what that reason is, but something about this works for people today, and it's super creepy. But anyway, it's this idea that the workplace should be your home. In fact, lots of people talk about your work family and things like that, and there are methods and ways to sort of keep you dedicated to the corporation that are employed all the time. You ever, I mean, and honestly, nobody wants to do these things. Like you ever get one of those icebreaker things where you know, you have to, like, when you meet someone, you're in a meeting, you do these like really corny icebreaker things where you have to, you know, have a conversation, a very forced conversation, or you have like some kind of a childish goal, like building a Lego bridge or something like that. And that, I mean, again, they did this kind of stuff in kindergarten, and they're doing it here for grown adults. Why is that? Why is that? You know, people have especially men have a natural desire to sort of be an entrepreneur. Lots of men have this. And it's a really natural thing for someone to fantasize about owning their own company. I have my own company, and it's a small company, and I really enjoy it, even though I don't have tons of revenues. I have enough to get by, and I fantasize about having that for the rest of my life, as opposed to going back into a corporate office. And there's everything right about that. That's a natural thing for a man to want to run his own show, as opposed to, you know, going to somebody else's house, so to speak, and having a work family and all this kind of stuff. Now, this kindergarten stuff, you know, it's creepy. This is definitely creepy. Again, watch this video. You will be creeped out for sure. But it actually gets even more creepy and actually more serious. Have you ever heard of a work wife or a work husband or a work spouse? This is a real thing. Go into LinkedIn and I searched the hashtag, the different content people have produced about work wives. And here's an article, Why You Need a Work Wife, the 6 Benefits of Women Supporting Women. Now, this concept, if you've never heard of it, it's about having someone at work, whether you're a man or a woman, someone of the opposite sex that essentially takes the place of your wife at work for the 40 hours a week or however long you're at work. You know, she's your confidant. She's the person that you speak to more directly, and she's got your back, and you can have inappropriate conversations, you know, with and things like that. It's really, really creepy. It's a terrible idea, by the way, to have a work wife. But do you see how it's not like just like a hypothetical the workplace is replacing your home? It actually is definitely replacing your home. This idea of a work wife, this work wife is supposed to be your helper at work. Let me read you this article here. What is a work wife? A work wife is a colleague who has your back at work, providing support and encouragement. Chances are you or someone you know has a work spouse. More than 50% of female employees and 44% of male employees have one. A work wife is a colleague who has your back whether you need to bounce ideas off someone or you just need someone to pump you up before asking for a raise. Your commitment to each other is such that it's almost like a marriage. This is something that corporations push. They want you to have a work wife. So many people on LinkedIn share content about the value and the glories and the necessity of having a work spouse because it helps you. You know, it helps you in many ways. That's what these arguments are. These articles are saying. It helps you in the ways that an actual wife is supposed to help you. It's supposed to be sort of like emotional support, and it's supposed to be someone who you say what your ideas are. You tell them your desires, your hopes, your dreams, and things like that. It's like a real marriage, except the articles don't promote having sex with your work wife. But this is often what happens. I mean, the reality is, when I was unmarried, when I was a non-believer, I had a work wife, and guess what happened? It turned into an affair, and she was married, and I completely ruined, and obviously it takes two to tango, but I'm taking responsibility for what I did. I ruined her marriage because I had a work wife, and every time I had an idea, I would bounce it off her, and every time I needed some help or emotional support, or I wanted to have a kind of a non-PC, non-HR conversation, I would go to her and things like that. We would talk about our personal lives and all that kind of stuff. This is a terrible idea. And so Michael Foster is dead on. The corporation, the workplace, has replaced the family, the home, in many ways. And it cannot do it effectively. It's always going to be a counterfeit. So I'm not saying you shouldn't work for a corporation. I'm not saying that. But just make sure that you do not knowing that they're trying to do this, knowing that the corporation wants you to be committed to your quote-unquote work family. They want to a certain degree, replace what you would normally be doing for yourself, normally be building your own thing, with what they're doing. That's something that's intentional. They do it in a variety of different ways. They do it through reminding you of kindergarten and all the things that, the authority figures that you saw in kindergarten. And they do it by promoting this kind of stuff like a work wife, a work husband, this kind of thing. Listen, I'm not saying that it's super insidious, that they're doing this intentionally to ruin your life, but they are doing it to their benefit. And I'm here to tell you that what your corporation, your employer's benefit, is not necessarily aligned with what benefits you. So keep that in mind. If you're going to work for somebody, I'm not saying it's wrong to work for somebody else, but I'm saying keep that in mind, that everything that they do is for their benefit, and that doesn't necessarily line up with yours. So make sure that you focus on building your own home as much as you possibly can. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. Again, I do recommend you watch that video from Joshua Fluke. It's hilarious. God bless.
So that you feel warm and fuzzy like you did when you were a kid. Do what you're told, play nice, be nice, you know. I know, but just wait until you see the pictures. And so without further ado, let's jump in. So this is a kindergarten classroom just as you would expect. You got the colorful chairs, you got the map on the wall, you got all the stuff that you would have in a normal kindergarten classroom. This is a corporate office. You got the colorful chairs.
It's unreal, isn't it?
Colorful walls. You have a teddy bear. This is for adults, and this is for children. If I put them side by side, kind of weird, man, kind of weird.
Yeah.
And just so you know this is legit, let me show you the
I'll say this is kind of weird.
post where I got this off LinkedIn. When you discover your new office not only has a Street Fighter arcade machine, but also a nice table tennis table, plus 3 new business inquiries our first day back. Check out Scott's teddy bear. He can't leave the house without it. These are grown adults. What is going on? Here's a
And he says that with a piece of tinfoil on his head. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. God bless.